Hey, how you doing? Justin back with you for a whole heap of fun today. We're checking out the riff for Sunshine of Your Love by Cream, famously the legend that is Eric Clapton on guitar. We're just going to be dealing with the riff, and it's not exactly the way it was played on the record. If you want to check that out later on your journey, I've got a lesson over on the website. This is a kind of slightly simplified one for beginners. It's the right notes and everything. We're just playing a slightly different part of the neck. There's heaps of cool things to learn in this for a beginner. We're going to be using all down picks, but you're going to find it changing strings a bit, which you're going to find a little bit challenging. If you want, you can rest your little finger on the guitar there somewhere to give you an anchor point. I tried doing that most of the time, but sometimes I found myself just playing freely as well, and that's okay. So see what kind of works for you. Don't worry about the picking too much. Most of the fun is going to be in the fretting hand. So let me play you the riff first of all so you can see what it is we're going to be doing. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the rhythm count for it, but it's fairly complicated, and it'd actually be much easier if you've just heard it. So if you're not familiar with the song Sunshine of Your Love by Cream, go and check it out on whatever streaming service it is that you like and have a listen to it a few times to get it in your ear, because if you don't know it at all, it is going to be a bit of a tricky one to learn. So assuming that you're at least familiar with the rhythm, let's talk about the fingering a bit. We're starting with the third finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. We're going to play that note twice. Then we're going to play the 3rd fret on the same string with the 1st finger, and then back to the 5th fret with the 3rd finger. So this. That's the count. The rhythm count would be 1 and 2 and. Okay, 1 and 2 and. 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. It's with your 3rd finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger. Now after that, we're going to move the 3rd finger down onto the 5th fret on the thickest string, and then we're going to play the 4th fret with the 2nd finger and the 3rd fret with the 1st finger. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So then after we've reached down the end, we're going back to the note we started on, the 5th fret on the 5th string, 1st finger then on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then back to our starting note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now ideally you want to kind of keep your fingers spread out where they are ready to go. So you see I don't really have to move much my hand. The fingers are kind of all ready to go. That wasn't the case when I tried to play it left-handed. I got to be honest. I found it actually surprisingly difficult, almost to the point where I was like, well, maybe this riff's too hard for this stage and maybe I should move it later. But by the end of a couple of weeks, I kind of mostly had it, and I'd really noticed my picking had improved, my pick accuracy. One of the things that you get from doing this kind of riff practice is the synchronization between the hands, the fact that you're playing a note and your fingers are moving at the same time. And that's one of those things that I didn't used to teach in the beginner's course, but then people had a sudden big learning curve when they started learning scales or improvising or riffs or whatever. And I think you're better off starting with this, even if after a couple of weeks you haven't totally nailed the riff. It's okay, you're going to learn a lot in the process of practicing it. So just a couple of minutes a day, trying to get that is going to help a whole lot. Now, if you're familiar with the song and you're not finding it too bad, you can move the whole thing down a string as well. So literally one string toward the floor. Then back. Now I do notice sometimes when I'm demonstrating these things I'm putting a vibrato and stuff like that on. Definitely for beginners, that's going to be too difficult. I mean, you can try it if you like, but there's not a whole lot of point. You just want to be thinking about getting your fingers in the right place, seeing if you can get that rhythm working for you as well. That'll be a really big deal. If you can get the rhythm kind of going along okay, and we're going to do a little bit more practice along together, nice and slow. If you can get that rhythm right and you can get your picking accurate enough, then you're really, really going great. So here's an ideal scenario for the speed. So like thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. If you could do it at that speed, that will be awesome. Most of you probably find that a little difficult. Maybe after a week's practice or whatever, then that'll be achievable. But still tricky. This is a tricky riff, but it's loads of fun. And like I said, each one of these things that you're learning has got a heap of different aspects to it that are going to help you on your guitar journey in ways that you probably even can't anticipate just yet. But believe me, it's going to be a fun one. I really hope you're enjoying it.